Hey there, lovely. If you're a driven and highly ambitious woman who has checked all the boxes, followed all the rules, only to realize you don't actually feel fulfilled or you don't feel like you're living your purpose, then you are absolutely in the right place. My name is Melissa Chavis. I'm an intuitive mindset coach, and I am absolutely obsessed with helping you discover your true purpose, that thing you were put here on this earth to do, so that you can live the most fulfilling and abundant life possible. Hey there, beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. Today, I want to unpack what I feel is one of the most misunderstood concepts in the self-development and coaching space. And that is the topic of embodiment. Because here's the thing. You can know what is aligned for you and still not actually be living that. You can totally see what's true for you and then still choose the option that feels safer. So today we're going to talk about what embodiment actually is, why it matters, and what keeps so many high achieving women stuck in the cycle of seeking clarity, finding clarity, and then making no forward progress. So what is embodiment? Embodiment isn't just like a vibe or a feeling that you get. And it's not about how you sit in meditation or how aligned your words sound on Instagram. It's truly in the way that you move through your life. Embodiment is found in the actual actions that you're taking on a day-to-day basis. Embodiment truly is recognizing what's right for you and then living your life in a way that reflects it. Because when your inner knowing matches your external action, then you're able to truly manifest the life that you desire. And if this is something that interests you, I just created a new guide, 5 ways to start embodying your alignment. And I'm going to go ahead and leave a link here in the details for the show. So you can click there and download that free guide. It walks you through 5 ways that you can start really embodying your alignment instead of just knowing it. Okay, so here are some things that I see, some examples that I see when speaking with women inside my coaching practice. So a woman will know that her job is misaligned for her. It's not a right fit. But embodiment is updating your resume and looking for new opportunities. What I'm seeing, though, is this understanding, seeing that it's misaligned for you, but continuing to make the most logical decision in that situation, or telling yourself that you're making a logical decision by staying in the same job, continuing on the same path that you're on, because that seems like the reasonable thing to do, instead of taking action on what you know is the correct alignment for you. Or on this very, very broad level, which is what I talk about all the time, is I see these women who are so tired of chasing somebody else's version of success, but they're not moving into the embodiment piece where they actually figure out what is right for them, what is their version of success that truly feels right for them. And then setting boundaries and taking action toward that version. You get stuck in this point of knowing, having the clarity, seeing that either something is totally misaligned for you or seeing what is aligned for you but not taking the aligned action because it feels a little too scary or just doesn't seem logical to make that move. And I found that there just tends to be this gap between knowing and embodying. So many women know what's off, especially if you've done the mindset work, you've had some downloads, or you're just conscious enough to start seeing some of the patterns that are playing out in your life. But then when it comes time to make decisions and take action, you're not having the hard conversations. You're not truly changing the dynamic of the situation. Instead, you're freezing and you're feeling stuck and you're telling yourself that there's a lack of clarity. But in reality, it's not a lack of clarity. It's a fear that's coming up because you don't feel safe in your body to make the necessary changes. You fear what might happen if you start going down that road and you start taking those actions and making those changes, because most of the time it's not something that you've ever done before. So you don't truly know for sure what the outcome will be. And that is so scary for most of us. But that's the difference between clarity or understanding your alignment or knowing when something's misaligned for you and actual embodiment. And I think that so many women are getting stuck in between the two. You start to realize that something is misaligned and you start to get that clarity around what actually is aligned for you and what does feel right for you. But you just aren't making it to the part where you're truly embodying that alignment in your day-to-day life. So then why do we resist it? Why is there this fear that comes up around actually embodying the alignment that we can see for ourselves? First of all, embodiment typically requires some sort of loss in our lives. It means that we need to let go of identities that have earned us validation throughout our lives. We are no longer going to be that person anymore. And it's saying no to maintaining this version of ourselves that everyone else applauds, that everyone else knows, that everyone else expects. And that is incredibly uncomfortable. And so we stay in the loop. We create awareness around the problem. We have an insight around what to do. And then we avoid taking any actual steps toward creating the change. We end up feeling so incredibly frustrated. I see so many women who are just in this place of overthinking and frustration and feeling so tired of this constant cycle and not truly being able to articulate what the problem is and why they're feeling this way, why they're feeling so stuck. And ultimately, what is missing here in this equation is the self-trust that is required to move into embodiment. There needs to be this level of internal safety of knowing that it is okay to break away from our current life and our current patterns, and that ultimately we will be safe and things will work out. We just don't know this yet. We don't feel it. And so we don't feel safe making the changes and moving forward with this level of embodiment that is required to create the change in our lives. And this is why I always say that, clarity isn't enough. Clarity isn't going to get you there. You truly need to trust yourself and know that there is this safety that exists in trusting yourself and in moving forward in alignment. But it takes courage. It takes courage to move through the period where you can't really see the outcome yet. You can't really see exactly how things are going to play out for you in the future. And I've talked about this so many times on this podcast. It's not your fault, and you're not alone in this. This is how the human brain has evolved to work. We hold safety above everything else. Our human brains hold safety above all else. That is the most important thing for us to live, essentially. Your brain sees safety as something that it needs to grasp onto very, very tightly and protect at all costs. So when you're trying to do something that feels scary and that takes courage, and that means you need to move outside of your comfort zone, move outside of your safety bubble, your brain's going to try to stop you no matter what, because it sees safety as the most important objective in your life. Because, truly going back thousands of years, safety was the most important thing, right? Because human lives were in danger in the environment around. And so safety was the most important thing because the species wanted to stay alive. However, that's not necessarily the reality that we're living in right now. But your brain is still programmed to work that way. It's still programmed to keep you in safety no matter what. So this is absolutely normal to have this response to trying to make radical change in your life and move outside of the patterns that you've been playing out throughout your entire life. Totally to be expected. However, in order to truly embody the alignment that you need in your life to create the changes that you want to create, you need to find a way to feel safe doing so. So how do you actually start embodying the alignment that you can already see is there? You can already see that direction. You already have some idea of where you need to go. How do you actually start embodying that in your life? I suggest that you start by asking yourself a few questions and journaling around this topic. First of all, where in my life am I clear on something, but not acting on what I already know to be true for me? Second, what have I been saying I want, but not actually choosing when it comes down to it? And finally, what would it look like to move through my day as the woman who already trusts herself and her own inner knowing? This is where the true transformation starts to happen. It's not in these mindset shifts of knowing what's aligned for you and being able to be more intentional and conscious of how you are reacting in your day to day. Those things are important, but they aren't going to create the drastic change that you're looking for. But when you start taking action on what you already know, that is where the embodiment happens. But it's through asking yourself some of these questions and starting to practice what it feels like in your body to make those changes from a place of security, from a place of safety. If you are that woman who is already living that reality, who already has made the changes that you know you need to make in your life, if you are that woman and you are viewing the world from that perspective, how does that feel? What does that look like? And how can you start acting from that place on a daily basis in your real life? Because that is how the shift happens. It's through understanding what it feels like to know that you are safe, and to know that no matter what, things will work out for you if you truly align yourself and embody the change that needs to happen in your life. And as I mentioned, I have a new free resource for you to help you journal around this and to take this practice even deeper and to truly start embodying the alignment that you can already see there for yourself. So the link is in the description here. You can go ahead and click on that and download that free guide. But this is just a reminder that this is a completely normal response to realizing and seeing that something major needs to change in your life, and to understanding that your current life and the current success that you've achieved is not aligned for you. This is a totally normal human response to feel very stuck in that place and to not automatically and immediately take action and embody that alignment that you can see for yourself. It takes practice. It takes a lot of intention. And I think for most of us, it takes getting additional support to help us to get over that bridge and to get over that gap from knowing what's aligned to truly embodying our alignment. But it is possible. It's just a matter of creating the safety and the self-trust within yourself to start truly taking the aligned actions that you need to take in your life. And if this landed for you today, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. As always, you can leave a comment here or you can DM me over on Instagram, and that's at Melissa Ann Chavis. I am always up for hearing your feedback on this podcast. Until next time, enjoy your week, my love. That's it for another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you found it helpful, I'd love to hear from you. You can do that by liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel or rating and reviewing the podcast wherever you're listening.